promise me that you will watch my lessons. I promise I'll never be late. I promise I won't tell this to anyone. Well, we end up using the word promise way too much. But then how do we use it exactly? How do we express it? Or how do we offer our promises? Or how do we ask for a promise? Well, this is what we are going to learn in today's lesson. How to use the word promise in English. Hey friends, you're with me Niharika, and as I promised, I'm back with a new lesson. So today we are gonna learn and talk about the word promise. We all love to use it way too much, am I right? So now let's learn how to use the word correctly. Well, what exactly it means and how to put it in your sentences. So there are 3 ways that you offer your promise to someone, okay? So we are going to look at the 3 ways, and then we are also going to learn how to ask for a promise from someone, okay? So to begin with, we are going to understand when do we use the word promise. Giving a word. So we use the word promise when you give a word when you're actually saying the truth, okay? So whatever you're saying, it is the truth. You are absolutely giving a word for that. Well, that's when you use the word promise, okay? So when you are telling the truth. So to understand this better, let's have a look at the 2 examples out here. The first one is, the government has promised to reduce taxes. Well, yes, the last time that I heard, okay, when someone from the government said that they are looking forward to reduce the taxes for the people, then they're probably giving a word. So whatever they said is the truth. So when you are giving a word, when you are telling the truth, you use the word promise, okay? Another example for you is, you have to stand up in court and promise to tell the truth. Of course, when you go to the court for something really important, you cannot really lie. It's important for you to give your word. To say whatever you're saying has to be the truth, okay? So that's when you use the word promise. Like, whatever I say, I promise is going to be the truth, okay? That's when you use the word promise. So this is one way when you are giving a word, when you're telling the truth. The other way when you use the word promise is when you guarantee someone, okay? So probably you will do something that you have said, right? To understand this better, let's have a look at the example out here. We have, I promise to love you endlessly. Oh, how romantic is that? So when a guy tells his girlfriend or his partner that I promise to love you endlessly, it means that he is guaranteeing her that, okay, honey, this is what it is. I promise to be with you. I promise never to leave you alone. I promise to love you endlessly, right? So when someone gives a guarantee, well, it means that he or she is promising. The second example is, I'll come for the dinner. It's a promise. Okay, so when you want to make sure that you will do something to whatever you just said, you can use the word promise. So like we have the example here, which shows that you are promising that you will go for the dinner. So someone invited you, okay, probably it's your friend or your aunt, called you up and said that, hey, we are having a party tonight. There are a couple of friends who are coming over, so why don't you join us for the dinner? and probably the last time you had ditched her, okay? You didn't go for the dinner, or you didn't really show up at her place when she invited you. So this time you just want to guarantee, give her that, okay, I'm surely gonna be there. So that's when you use the word promise, that I will come for the dinner. It's a promise. Okay, so these are the two ways. The other one is when you are stating not to do something. Okay, now when you say that not to do something, the way you will use the word promise will be that you promise not to. Okay, though it's a negative word here, but you're actually stating that you will not do something, okay, that you have actually promised for. So the way you use it, you're going to use it, I promise not to. I promise not to tell anyone. So your friend just shared a secret with you. And she wants to make sure that you don't share it with anyone else. I hope you don't do that, because that's bad manners. If someone shares a secret with you, you are not supposed to tell it to anyone. So, how do you offer your promise? Well, that's how you do it. I promise not to tell anyone. Okay, when you're stating that you will not do this, for sure, certainly you're not going to do that. Another example is, I promise not to hurt your feelings. Okay, so there are people who tend to hurt your feelings, right? And probably you ask for a promise that, hey, you got to tell me, you got to promise me that you're not going to hurt my feelings ever. So that person offers his promise, and how does he do it? Well, I promise not to hurt your feelings, okay? I promise not to be late, right? So that's the way you use the word promise. In a negative way, when you are stating not to do something, okay, like for sure. And then the last thing that I have to tell you is, how do you ask for a promise? Okay, so these are the three ways that you offered or expressed your promise. Now, how do you ask for it? Right? It's not always that when you are having a conversation with someone, the other person is going to say, hey, I promise, I promise. Not necessary, right? There are times when you want to ensure that, okay, you got to promise me that you're not going to do this, right? So how do you ask for a promise? Well, these are a couple of examples here. Promise me that you will take care of my dog. So probably you're going away for a couple of days and you are handing over your dog to your friend or to your neighbor. Well, then you can ask for a promise that, hey, promise me that you'll take care of my dog. So you're asking for a promise. You are making it sure that she takes care of your dog. The second example, is that a promise? Okay, now there are people who sound pretty certain, okay, but you are kind of unsure, okay, with whatever they just said, you're just not very sure about that. So to ensure yourself, well, what are you gonna ask? You're gonna ask for a promise. So keep it very simple. Is that a promise? Like your friend says that, oh, let's catch up for a movie at 6 tonight. And you're not quite sure because she seems to be busy today. I don't know how is she going to make for the movie. So you're going to say, is that a promise? Then I'll be there at 6. Okay? And then another example for you is, make me a promise that you will study hard. Oh, that's like the favorite for all the parents out there. Am I right? So you always ask for promises from your kids. Well, you need to promise me that you won't lie. You promise me you won't trouble your grandparents. You promise me you're not going to hit this person. So you keep asking for promises from your kids very often. So how do you do that? Well, make me a promise. Either ways, you can say that promise me that you won't hit that person. Is that a promise? When your kid says that, okay mom, I'm not gonna do this, then you ask for a promise. Is that a promise? Or keep it very simple. Make me a promise that you will study hard. Okay, you want your child to be extremely intelligent and do well in their studies, and that's how you ask for a promise. Right, so this is really simple, though it is such a common word that we end up using endlessly. So now you know the next time how to use it, how to put it in your sentences and in your conversation. So I'll be back with a new lesson soon. Till then, you take care.